Everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. We're looking at Wes's guide bar today. This is a nice Oregon roller nose. And this thing, it had a slight hook at the tip. Now, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. Looks like I'm shooting dead on there. And from my angle, it still has a slight hook until I do this. And then all of a sudden it's straight. Same thing coming from this direction. Just a smidge. And then I kind of roll it and move it a little bit, and it's good. So what's going on is a little bit of wear in the bearing itself on the roller tip. The overall bar is pretty straight. I mean, I can see an ever so slight bend, but I'm talking so slight, I don't think it's going to cause any binding in the wood, and I certainly don't think it's worth the time of trying to straighten it. I think a person would just make it worse. I mean, it is so slight. I'm not even 100% convinced I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing. But we do need, so what I did is initially the lamination of the two pieces of the bar was definitely, loose out here at the tip. So I reset these rivets really well. Used the center punch at first and then peened the didn't realize that was all out of frame. Center punch on these three rivets and then ball peened the crap out of them. That took care of that. And then I realized there was a lot more movement than even this. So we did the same thing on the nose rivets. Really tighten them up. But what's left is just natural wear. And I think most of that wear will be taken up by greasing this tip, which I'm going to do, but I don't want to do it yet because I need to finish the restoration on this thing. So the first thing we need to do, and this is true of any guide bar, if you're looking at refinishing one, whether you've got my tools or you're doing it some other way, there's a few steps you need to follow. The first thing you want to do is close your rails. Now you can see how loose those are. Let me find my little piece of chain. Now, this is a 58 gauge bar, which is actually funny. I'll bet this is running some 63 gauge, so we may not close the rails much at all. I may just grind them flat. So that's 50 gauge chain, and you can see that just wobbles all over the place. Not good. Now, I have a piece of 63 laying around, which I may or may not. I'm going to lean towards may not. 63 would sit in here tighter than a tick spot. And I'm going to guess that's what Wes has been running on this. But even if it's 58 gauge, it's not going to be bad. And part of the way you can tell is look for consistency from tip to tip. The least amount of wear is typically right about where your bar plates are. Right in there. It always stays tight because you've got your clamp, you've got your bar cover, and you've got the saw that are clamping that together. It's not going to be able to splay out as much as, say, out here in the field where there is just absolutely nothing to prevent it from doing that. But you can look up and down the bar, and if the width is pretty consistent, you're good. Now this side, there is some wear. And about there to right about there, you can see that this is wider. Now, is it a 32nds? Probably. A 16th? Nah, probably not. So I'm going to take a wild guess. And it's probably a fairly good wild guess. And I'm going to close this in that section only. So this is a tool you can buy at Bailey's or on eBay. It's not glamorous. and it's not fast, and it's not even that good. But it's one of the few things we've got. Unless you've got an attachment for the Barshop laying around and you want to sell it to the cause. They had a rail closing setup for those. It was basically an anvil. Whoop. That you'd slip a little insert in the bar groove and then, hammer it along. And that was pretty quick. Oregon had one where you could do it with just a hammer. And it was the same thing. It was a series of inserts you'd put here, put it on your vise or your anvil, and boom, boom, boom. Where you go. Those things aren't very common anymore. So what we're left with is stuff like this. And you can see I'm wearing gloves. I'm also being careful not to slip and take my arm across there because you want to see some blood. It is amazing how sharp these damn bar rails can get. Now I'm going slow here because I don't want to cause any binding. That looks good. And again, I'm just sighting down through here for consistency, and it looks about the same front to back now. So I'm going to guess that was the bottom of the bar. And where the chain would hang out, rock from side to side, slowly work these open. The top doesn't do that. Looks pretty good. So let's go to the Barshop now. Actually, hold on. Take that back. We'll see if there's anything in here to clean out. If you're going to groove one of these things, you want to get all the trash out. Little groove cleaning tools are real easy to come by. And a real thin screwdriver will do the same thing. This one's been cleaned up well. I shouldn't be surprised. But some of these things that have never been touched, you're going to have to pull this 7, 8, 10 times to get all the trash out of the groove. There's no point in plugging up a grinding wheel. All right, bear with me here while I get this thing loose from the tripod and we'll go over to the Barshop. Conveniently staged. Let's see if I can get a view. It's not totally useless from over here. You guys are sitting on a pile of new old stock parts. There we go. That's not terrible. If it'll sit still. Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to grind it flat. And what I'm going to do is avoid this tip like the plague. I don't want to mess up that roller. And I'll show you what we're looking for as we go along. Alright, nice smooth even stroke. Now I'm wearing my sunglasses / safety glasses, so I can't tell how well the viewfinder's picking it up. You see how it's nice and shiny on this side and dull on the right hand side? Because it was wearing crooked. The grinding wheel didn't even touch that other side from about here to here. So we're going to keep going in smooth even strokes like that until we're shiny all the way across. And I can already tell that got better because there was more resistance. Okay. This wasn't worn super badly. You see, now there's a little on the outside edge, and then that's real bad. There's still a belly there, but by the time you're up to here, you're even. But you need the whole thing to look like this. So we'll keep going. Not bad. Not bad at all. These bars aren't growing on trees, so once you get that edge, stop. There's no reason to keep going. No need to wear one out on a grinder. Okay. See, this one was the exact opposite. The left side, my left, is the one that's not shining up right away. Still a few chips there. We'll go one more. Okay. So in places like right there, where there's just a minute chip, I am not going to keep grinding on that. Some guys might, but as long as you keep your teeth and your rakers adjusted properly, so that they're not, you're not pulling to one side or the other with your chain, that's going to be just fine. And again, I don't believe in wearing out guide bars. Now looking at this, the grooves are deep enough, but just for the fun of it, I'm going to take one quick pass with the grooving wheel. It's been a long time since we've done one of these, so that you guys can see it. This is one of those operations where you want to work in the right direction. So the wheel is spinning clockwise here. So I'm going to start and pull it towards me. You gotta have a good grip on this. Otherwise, you're going to launch the son of a bitch like a missile, which is great if it's just going out in the yard and it doesn't hurt anything, but if you're in your garage, your kids are around, keep a good grip. If you're doing something like this, know which way things are rotating so that you can be careful. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see a little shine down in that groove. Basically, we just cleaned the rest of the rat crap out of there and freshened it up a little bit. There's no need to do any more than that on this bar. Okay. So when you're on a sprocket tip like that, and you have to start in the middle and work this way, make sure you stop before you get to the sprocket or to the roller. I'm satisfied with that. Completely satisfied with that. Actually, spoke too soon. I want to blow this out. Okay, now we'll go back to the bench. So if you don't have a machine like that, and 99% of folks aren't going to, you can still maintain your bar. It'd be real easy to make a little file plate so that you were straight across here and you could use a flat file. And that's really what you need. You need to be straight across. Alright, so before I clean that tip out anymore, I'm going to get my flat file and lightly remove the burrs. And believe me, there are burrs. That has an edge. And you don't want to slice yourself on it. And I'm not pushing hard. The reality is a professional shop would have done this with a belt sander, going the opposite direction of what I'm going. Just bzz, bzz, and done. Okay. Now I can run my thumb across that. Now granted I'm wearing gloves, but I can tell that other than this edge right here, it was nice and smooth. Okay, all the rolled metal is gone. That nice razor sharp edge is waiting to light your thumb up. It is gone. So I'm going to take some WD-40. You hear that's rough. A little bit of metal in there. No bueno. Ah, yes. That's what we're looking for. Just clean it out real good. You know, there's still some color to that. Well, I guess you can't. But I can see I'm dripping a little bit of blackish brown. Now, some of that's going to be old degrease and oil and crap that's dissolving. There we go. That sounds like it did when I started. So now, and here's another thing that's semi-controversial. Greasing your bar tip. There are guys that swear up and down, I don't need to. It's got an oiler, it's going to make it out there. It might, and it should. But what's the harm? There's a grease port there. What's it say? Grease hourly. I don't know about that. But at least once a day, for crying out loud, when you're cutting. Alright. I got some in there. Not quite enough. Oh, look at that. It's coming out around the rivets. Well, I'll be damned. Oh, and it tightened it up quite a bit too. Oh, yeah, I know. It's going to blow out, and as it rolls, wear the grease out. That's like any bearing. That's what they're going to do. So there you go. I don't know how quick it was, but we're going to call that the quick and dirty cleanup of a pretty nice guide bar. Again, this is an Oregon 24-inch bar, 58 gauge. That's their universal mount pattern. Pretty much any damn saw that was produced back in the 60s of any decent size, you could put this bar on there if it had a 3/8 stud. And if you had adapters, you weren't even limited by that. And this roller nose is sought after. I know I like them. I've cut with them. They're smooth and they're quiet. And they don't cause a bunch of bar wear. This nose is so hard, and as the chain's approaching, it actually lifts it just a little bit. So you're not wearing your bar out. Very durable bar. If you have the opportunity to get some for your classic saws, I highly recommend it. So anyway, Wes, I think this is good. Again, you can still see just an ever so slight, but trying to straighten it any more than it is, I think would be a fool's errand. It would just result in a bar that was crooked and out of shape. A person would need a true, hydraulic anvil or something to try and do anything more with it. So I'm going to call this good, package it up, send it back, and we'll see what you think.